And if you have to go to reasons of all that, you have to go to a lot of other understanding. There's a lot of spiritual explanations to all that. I would say scientific explanations to why you chose to do what you want, because you always choose experiences. Those experiences are fit for you to teach the lessons that you came to learn. The simple answer is that I came to learn something. I would choose those lessons which would teach me what I want to learn. I would not choose your way of, I want to have the experience of riding a bike, and I would take a bike and go ride Himalayas. And everybody said, why are you so foolish? You could have taken a flight, gotten down in Delhi, and then gone from there. But I wouldn't get the merriment of riding a bike all the way from Kerala to Himalayas, right? The experience is different. So you choose. Your soul chooses whatever you want to. And then everybody is using a different vehicle, different pathway to reach where they want to reach. So if we understand people from that perspective, I don't think we can judge anybody, whether they are right, wrong, or whatever. We might be able to say that I have been through experience and I think this is not the right way to think. That much we can always say. And maybe that person will benefit. But someone wants help, someone seeks help, you might be able to understand they need help.
Ji.
And when you can read their mind, when you can read, because nowadays what I see in the biggest challenge for a leadership position is that lot of people come with a lot of issues. They're all hidden inside the mind. Even they themselves are not aware. So as a leader, what you're supposed to do is sometimes you have to go dig into somebody and find out what is happening there. Your time is spent on those things only. And when you start doing it, what happens is sometimes you take out some things which they are not able to handle. Then you have a problem. So I think we also struggle not knowing how to take care of these things. Earlier, people used to have a much open mind. Now everyone is scared. There's no love. There's no trust. Absolutely gone. So basically, when you understand spirituality, you cannot stop loving. You cannot stop trusting. But at the same time, you know where to stop yourself. You don't blindly fall into love with anybody. You don't blindly trust anybody. But you still have to do. You still have to love and still have to trust to understand whom to trust, whom not to. If you keep away from everything, you can never have a good relationship. Every relationship either teaches you something, it gives you more values, it gives you probably adds on a lot of flavor to your life. Whatever, you will not know, but you have to see the experiences in such a way that you are able to navigate through life much more easily. So pandemic, you say, just example of COVID. We all thought my house will never be affected. My city will not be affected. My country will not be affected. It all came. One day or other is supposed to come. What is teaching us? It taught us so many things. There's so many good things, bad things.
Yeah. Ma'am, we
It's
keep
our...
listening you, but we are having so many questions and I just wanted to jump to another question. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It's lovely listening you. Why most of us don't even want to look at our inner self?
We are
Why we are
scared.
so away from our own self?
We are scared. We don't know how to handle that. And we don't know whom to seek help to do it. One is that. Second is that you have never learned to pray or sit quiet or look into yourself. How do you know what looking into inner self means? The two things. One is that a lot of misconceptions. We feel the spirituality is then you shut off from the world, you go find a robe and then you only think about God and that's it. No, that's a very wrong concept. It's not, spirituality is not that. It's certain people, like, there are teachers in this. That doesn't mean everybody is a teacher, but if somebody is a teacher, doesn't mean that she doesn't do anything. She's only teaching and she's not only interested in teaching everybody. No. So similarly, you need people who practice spirituality seriously, because only they can guide the others to go through it. So those people who really choose to understand the inner self and they spend a lot of time on it, they are much more better guides for you. So certain people would love to do that, so they do it. That doesn't mean that they all live in the same universe. They all live in the same world. They're not separated from it. And if you try to separate this materialistic and the spiritual world, that's a big mistake. Spirituality and materialism, though we call it two terms, are two sides of the same coin. One, you're seeing from if you talk of spirituality, you see outside from, you see within, And from within you see outside. Materialistic is you see from outside. You only see the outside. You don't see the inner self. That's only difference. That's like one is from outside to
Nine.
in, other is inside
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It's something like a 6-9 theory.
Yeah. Hello.
Like does law of attraction and spirituality have any connection?
Law of attraction and spirituality is all, it's the same. Spirituality, it actually has everything. Spirituality is there in everything in life. Okay, the problem is that we define spirituality something only related to your soul, nothing like that. If the soul is the essence and everything comes from that same living force, right? So what is excluded of it? There's nothing excluded. Law of attraction simply means that whatever you think and think always will come to you, because your mind has that power. Because you are a part of the same life force, and the same life force is inside you, and the mind is your tool, and the mind is actually the most powerful tool that we have. The intellect, more than the intellect, the mind is very powerful. So it is able to bring in anything that you need. That's why you say, if you think about negative things will come to you. Positive things, positive will come to you. That's why positive affirmations are a method of meditation and all that. And it's like this.
Ma'am, I am having another question.
Okay, please.
Sorry, because we are running short of time. So my next question is, because it's a nurse talk show and there's so many nurses are listening, I really want to know that how this spirituality can help them in their nursing profession or any profession in terms.
So that's like exactly where I started at one point of time, where we said, like, how do we help our patients? How do we understand what our patient actually needs? Okay, so you communicate with your mind, your body, your logic. You communicate with your soul. We looked at some very nice paper which is done by a Scandinavian scientist, nurse scientist, who talks about nurse-patient relationship, and she has about, I think, 20 years of research into this, and she's done. And what I read is very interesting to me, because it said one of the patient explained to her the nurse-patient relationship is a journey where we travel together. Suddenly, I feel somebody's traveling with me, and it's like this, that someone is working with me, not on me. So basically, when nursing means working with the patient, not on the patient. If it's a medical profession, also, because the thing is, I know about maybe liver, I know about heart, I know about brain, all that, but I don't know what if I give this medicine. The book says 20 people have reacted like this. Okay, so I know that the 21st person is probably will react to this, but it's not the same. It doesn't react like that, because we don't know the essence of what we are giving. So drug is very small. Drug is a physical object. So if I throw a stone, I know what the impact can be. But if I throw an emotion, can you say what the impact is going to be? Because it's a very soft tool. You can never measure the impact, because the other person's mindset is very different. Okay, if I know, if I throw a stone on a person, okay, right, the impact when it touches which part of the body, there's a difference, but it's almost same for every human being. But if the way I am reacting to that throwing a stone will be very different from each other. If the thrown, if it's a very small stone thrown by a small kid, I would be very happy. I say, okay, what made you do this? And I'll smile and go. Maybe it's a bigger stone from by somebody like if I think I'm an enemy to him, then my reaction will be very different, right? Similarly, when you put your emotions out on people, they get different they react very differently. You will never know. So this applies to every human relationship. When you're interacting with a patient, you will have to understand that this particular person is a human being and has the same capabilities that I have. The only problem is that his body as an instrument is worn off, or not cared for, or his mind is not in a state to absorb. So I have to if I have to read it, I have to know myself. Without knowing myself, I can't take care of them. So what happens in nursing profession is we are taught to give, but we have not taught self-compassion. We are not taught how to take care of ourselves. That element is missing. So what happens is you try to compensate for not doing for yourself by doing for others. But you do more, you stretch yourself so much that when you don't feel that is understood, then you get violent. But nobody's asking you to do it. Who's asking you to do that? We ourselves assume that by giving, we are more happy. But no one can give more than what they have. So
Yes,
you have to
ma'am.
create more to give more.
Ji. Ma'am, we are having just 2 minutes, and I don't want to leave this opportunity to please teach us and give us a very good take-home lesson that how can we can have a better spiritual being, because it's actually need of an hour. This is, let me tell you, you can live without any quotient, but if you don't have spirituality quotient in today's life, I know it's not a right word, but I really wanted to learn from you.
I think start exploring yourself. That's it.
How can we
And
do?
when you,
Can
yeah,
you guide us the simple way? Because we are going to do that, but definitely we need a master like you who can actually tell us.
that's, it's not a one liner, because it depends on every single person. You have to start with your strongest point, start exploring your stronger points, and then start building them, rather than try focusing on your weaknesses and inabilities. You try focusing on your strength, and try to, I'll tell you one simple example from my life. I used to be a very short tempered person when I was young, and I felt that she was a very blissful soul, and I thought that prayer could help me control my temper, and I started doing prayers for the sake of it. And in years to come, it didn't. The day I did my prayers, I felt much more composed. When I don't do it, I felt I was bouncing back to the same person. But after some time, what happened is this whole thing dawned on me that I have an ability to understand others. Okay. Then I tried to strengthen that ability and try more. And if I didn't understand somebody, when I got emotionally upset about someone, I tried to understand why. Why did they behave like that? Why was I upset? And this whole thing has changed the way I react to people. And this strength of trying to understand people have actually taken away my weakness of getting very emotional times. So the best way to deal with what you feel is not right about you is to know about what is your strength and try to build on it, because every strength has an opposite. So every weakness has an opposite to that. So
Yeah.
find out that and bring that in. And the more you try to understand, do small things about you. Don't, at least start wearing a smile every day, genuine smile, not like, doesn't make any sense. And everybody can understand that. Don't think that you can fool anybody around you. No one can fool, because everyone has a mind, everyone has a logic which is equally good as yours, sometimes sharper than yours, and everyone has a soul. So at least few people around you would really know if it's genuine. If your mind, body, logic, and your soul are in one line, if all that are one line, you actually become very successful. If you don't, if there's a conflict between all these, like when you think something and you act, you touch somebody with a different feeling, especially with babies, you can understand that some babies don't like people, they don't like certain people. Why? I don't understand why, because they know the difference. This, like, real love and not real love, they can understand, because that time your senses are more powerful, their mind is more powerful than your body. So you don't close, you have lot less shutters. The other thing, you have a lot of filters and you don't want to see. You've learned how to filter out things you don't want to see, and you've learned to lead a life where you don't feel, you are actually protecting yourself from the disturbances around you. But deep within, we are not. So it has to come from inside. Whatever happens, whatever things are there inside, the healing has to come from here rather than from top down.
Amazing.
I could talk on for days together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that it's a really injustice to say that please tell us spirituality in an hour. So I'm so sorry to all my listeners, to all our viewers, and we try to incorporate this huge concept in a 1 hour. But thank you very much, ma'am, you really did justice with that. And let me tell you, my clarity for this concept is much better now. And I really want to thank you. And let me tell you, even we can listen you hours and hours without getting tired. And we are just enjoying listening you. But I'm so sorry, we are having a set time. So we will be closing our show here. But we love that if you can stay a little more, and so that you can answer our few listeners and the people who's staying on Zoom. So with that note, I sincerely wanted to say thanks once again, Saibala ma'am, and sorry to everyone that we have to close this interesting, discussion. And that the beautiful way she presented the concept, the spiritual quotient. Well, let me tell you, friends, and just re-emphasizing 2 points, how we can be having our spirituality, because it is just a consciousness about your own self. So, one thing ma'am said, explore yourself. Please, I request all the parents, let their children to explore themselves. We should not have that comparative tool. Why we fear to see ourselves? Because nobody allow us to see inside, because they always give you everything full in the plate. Like, when you really wanted to see your competency, you usually compared with the another person. So it's a high time that we should spend some time with ourselves, and the most important is talking about your strength. It's a high time that we should not talk about the weakness, because as it was there, that law of attraction, definitely what you say, and if your mind, if your thought, word and action is synchronized, that nobody can stop you what you really want. And the third point, which is very important, that please choose your circle, because that's very important. And that's what the whole the essence of what ma'am was saying. What is the importance of master? I read somewhere that you become average of 5 people surrounded by you. So I'm very particular for these 5 people in my life, and I request you all to please choose these 5 people around you, because you are going to be average of these 5 people. And thank you very much for watching our show, and thank you, Saibala ma'am, for coming on the show and making this complex topic so interesting. And we love to listen to you more. Thank you, ma'am.